because none of this is going in there. Watch this.
Okay.
Look, jazz hands. Like, so.
Okay.
Like.
Okay.
Wait, what? That's going to be the opener now? Hello, and welcome to On the Go with Joe. I'm Joe Scianablo, United States Marine Combat veteran, retired New York City police officer, as well as a former prosecutor from the Queens District Attorney's Office. And I'm also running to be the next supervisor of the Town of Hempstead, America's largest township. We got a lot to get to today. I'm so excited because we have Rachel Klein on our show today. She is the founding member of Engage Long Island, which is truly a grassroots organization that not only organizes to help defend democracy, but helps some of the most vulnerable among us. We're truly excited to have Rachel on the show. Approximately 8 years ago, she had this idea to just engage with some of our local politicians to make sure that herself and her community were backing the candidates that they believed in. And when we talk about grassroots, and we're going to learn from her when we speak to her in a few minutes, Engaged really, truly started grassroots. They started from nothing, and now they have thousands and thousands and thousands of supporters, and their sphere of influence has just grown to where they get stuff done in real time for real people every single day. But before we get to Rachel, I just want to throw it out there, and we're going to give you our contact information. I want to know how many people have seen the new set of signs that the current town supervisor is putting up. You're going to see them out there, and they're nice, big, new, shiny signs, and they look expensive. The problem is, just over 6 months ago, we had all the signs replaced already. And now we're wasting taxpayer money on putting up new signs. We have more important things to spend our money on. The potholes, our roads, our water, our infrastructure. But I wanted to give a very sarcastic thank you to my opponent because these new shiny signs are blue. So thank you, Mr. Ferretti, John, for helping turn the Town of Hempstead blue. And John, I support you in turning the Town of Hempstead blue. I'm all about it. I just don't want it to cost the taxpayers any more money. So instead of having all the signs turn the Town of Hempstead blue, just tell them to go out there and vote Joe this November, and we can eliminate any wasteful spending. Thank you, John. And look, I don't think it's a coincidence that here we are in another election year, and we're wasting taxpayer money on changing the signs again. The Town of Hempstead supervisor seat is up, but also the town clerk seat is up. It doesn't surprise me that they're doing this, and they're doing this in a shameful way for self-promotion. It's a waste of taxpayer money, also because the signs are going to have to be changed again after this November. So thank you once again, John Ferretti, for wasting more of the taxpayers' money. Speaking of wasting taxpayer money, Anthony D'Esposito. We've seen him around a lot lately, and there was a recent article that I read in Newsday about some possible Hatch Act violations. The Hatch Act is important because, for those of you who don't know, Anthony D'Esposito is an IG, an inspector general within the Department of Labor. And the Hatch Act prevents him from campaigning for a partisan position, period. And there's been allegations now that, because I don't think it's a surprise, that he is looking into making congressional run in Congressional District 4. Joseph Cairo, he refers to this as a frivolous lawsuit or a frivolous thing. And I just want to just highlight the fact that this word frivolous has been thrown out before by the GOP, mainly during John Ferretti's illegal appointment last year. We were told that this was frivolous and there was no there, only to find out that they've all been found guilty of knowingly, willfully, and intentfully violating open meetings law and having backroom, backdoor, secret dealings out of view of the public. So their use of the word frivolous, I wouldn't put much stock in it because they've used this before as a distraction, as a tactic, just to make you think that they're doing the right thing, that they're on the up and up, which is also a word that they like to throw around. Now, when the GOP in Nassau County in particular is telling you that something's frivolous or they're doing things on the up and up, I'm going to tell you something. Pay closer attention to it. D'Esposito's already cost the taxpayer $250,000 for lying in a grand jury. But I think more disturbing, he's cost us over $80,000 in taxpayer money for false arrests, for illegal searches, for improper policing. We can't afford a guy who's going to lie and not be able to do their job in office. Those days are done. We want to hear from you. We want to hear about what's going on around town. We want to hear your voice, your concerns, and we want to hear what you want to see in your elected officials in your government. Call or text us anytime, 484-RING-JOE. That's 484-746-4563. 484-746-4563. You could also find us on social media at Joe for Town of Hempstead on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You could also email us at joe@joefortownofhempstead.com. Please feel free to reach out to us anytime. We're going to be joined today by Rachel Klein. Rachel truly embodies No Community Left Behind. She volunteers her time. She doesn't get paid for what she's doing. She truly cares. So let's get into our conversation with Rachel Klein. I'm honored to introduce our next guest to On the Go with Joe, Rachel Klein, who is a powerhouse in her community. She is the founder of Engage Long Island, which approximately 8 years ago this came to be.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy. I can't believe it's been that long. Yes.
And look, she embodies No Community Left Behind. I've had the pleasure of meeting her privately on a separate occasion. And we are truly honored and grateful
Thank you.
to have you here today to discuss some of the things that you do within the community. Without no further ado, what is it that Engage does? Like, tell us about Engage Long Island and how did this idea come about? Like,
Sure. So Engage Long Island is a grassroots group of just regular people, mostly moms and grandmas, but men too. And we just try to make this world better in every possible way, because right now it just feels like a dumpster fire. And rather than throwing up our hands or saying somebody should do something about that, our mindset is like, okay, what can we do about this? So it's a mix. It's a lot of electoral work, which is voter registration, voter outreach, and education. So for all the elections, we're picking the candidates that we believe share our values, and we're trying to get them across the finish line. So it's postcards, phone banking, canvassing, knocking on doors, hosting events for people so that they get to meet the candidates. I mean, when we started, I literally had to call the Capitol switchboard and say, who's my member of Congress? And then when they told me, I was like, is that a Democrat or Republican? I knew none of this stuff. So there's never any judgment. We know people are coming into this, they don't know, what the Town of Hempstead Supervisor does, because I didn't know that kind of stuff.
No, we had to have that conversation.
Yeah. So it's bringing people in and letting them know there's stuff to do to help win these races. So it's that component. It's also advocacy on the issues we believe in. So we actually started as a gun violence prevention group. So our first event was right after Parkland. Our mindset was, hey, we can't have high school kids getting on the news and talking about how the adults are failing them. We're the adults failing them, so what can we do? So as a regular mom, I tried to organize something first in my living room to meet the people who were running for Congress. And then our local librarian who ran the community department was like, I believe in this, I'll give you the auditorium. So I was like, okay. So Chuck Levine, that's how I met my assembly member. He came to support this event, and we had just 100 community people come to this congressional panel that we had. I think it was 4 or 5 people running for New York 2, and then there were also people who came from the 1st congressional district, and we just met them to see who we should support. And we were doing that for a while, and then we saw nothing was happening at the federal level with the gun laws, and we're like, let's see what we can do maybe at the state level, because it seemed like some states were stepping up. So again, knew nothing about state senate or state assembly, organized this event to be let's learn about New York politics and what happens in Albany. And people came to it, and it was really cool, and we educated ourselves, and we're like, hey, we just assumed New York was blue, but it's not, so we're going to flip the state senate because we're getting gun laws passed here. And we were all in for Jim Gorin, who was running at the time, and we brought people in to phone bank, to postcard, to canvas. We would have ideas. That campaign was phenomenal because they just embraced us, and they would say, if I had an idea, they would just help me make it happen. So I would say, we're moms, we have little kids, we can't hire babysitters to do this work, but it's really important to us. Can I organize a phone bank so the moms and parents can make calls, but we'll have like a movie and crafts going in the back of the campaign office so the kids are occupied? And they're like, absolutely, like, what do you need? And so it was stuff like that, and it was very grassroots, and like we won. Like we pulled it off, we flipped the state senate, and he did what we elected him to do, and he passed like over a dozen gun laws in New York, which is like we had that success.
I was literally writing down just grassroots to prompt me. Like,
yeah.
If anybody is imagining what grassroots is, it's what you did, right? 8 years ago, the way you started this is as grassroots as you can get.
It's like sometimes I'm just like blown away because sometimes we have like ideas and then we're just like, let's just put it out there and like see who wants to join us.
Yeah.
Like we were doing postcards at the time, and like postage was like half of what it is now, and it was still sort of out of our reach because we had no budget. Like I was a stay-at-home mom and I was like funding all of this stuff, but I was like, we need to write postcards. Like this is a good way to bring people in the door to volunteer. Yeah. And then we were doing this, and I'm like, I don't really know I'm going to pay for this, but we'll write and we'll figure it out. And then someone came in one day. We were like at the campaign office doing this, and then she just dropped off like 8 rolls of stamps, which was like a lot of money to us at the time. Now it's even more money, but she was just like, do you know who I am? And I like knew her from our Facebook group. Like she had helped. We were like collecting donations for like Afghan refugees. Like we're always just doing lots of things. But she just was like this wonderful woman that I knew from that capacity and for helping like the homeless. And then she was actually the daughter-in-law of Carolyn McCarthy. So she had all those connections that like Long Island Railroad shooting, and we were Long Islanders for gun safety at the time. So she was like all in with what we were doing, and just see like just regular people stepping up. She was so supportive. I just think of her as like this angel who really came through for us in that moment when we're like, we need to get this out of the door, but we don't have the funds. And yeah, so it's just been like a lot of moments like that where just like these incredible people kind of popped up and like helped us make these things happen.
And 8 years you've been running strong and growing like exponentially. And look, there's 2 core principles and foundations that I've kind of observed. Like, not only are you organizing, right? Most people think of Engage as organizing and defending democracy, but you truly help the most vulnerable among us. And I did have the pleasure of meeting with you at your house, like others have. Can you share with us, like, people know you as a powerhouse organizer and truly defending democracy. No kings. I see the pin, and we're going to get to that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But outside of organizing and defending democracy, tell us about how you do help the most vulnerable among us. What are some of the things that you have done and are working on right now?
Thanks. So after that big success actually with Jim Gorin, then we had many years of like big losses electorally here. And I think when you have volunteers, first of all, you need to make them feel very valued and appreciated. And like that's like a big thing for us. Like we treat people so well because we have the best people involved, and we want to make sure that they know how much like they are engaged. And so that's a big thing. And then you also have to feel like your work matters. So when you're having all these election losses, you need to know that, okay, I also need to be doing things that I can see made a difference. So that's when we really stepped up doing the community service work, because then you know anything you're putting into it, good is coming out of it. So I think probably the first thing we did after COVID, we were just randomly contacted to do a service project as part of Joe Biden's inauguration. And I was like, absolutely. And it was remote. And we did, at the time, all of the food banks were hurting. And then we learned that things like toothpaste and shampoo you couldn't use SNAP for. So we're like, let's do a project, like a virtual paint night, and then we'll have everyone just fill their totes with all these toiletries that people need for like hygiene but can't access, and the food banks don't have them right now. And so it was online. We were giving out, people were coming to my stoop and picking up the tote bags and paint. And then we had someone, she was actually in Europe at the time, but did this like paint night online for us, and people joined remotely. And then so it's like putting it out there, and we don't know what we're going to get back, but like literally we got 300 of these like beautiful tote bags that were all hand painted, overflowing with like full-size products. Like the JCC in Plainview, that's where we brought it, and then they distributed it out to like other places that they help. They were like blown away, and I'm like, I'm blown away because it's like you don't know. Like I was like on a computer screen, and we're like just putting this out there. So it was that. We also started during COVID when people were starting to garden. And again, this was just with like the first year was just with my own money. I'm like, let me buy some dirt and some seeds and ask people, try to grow some food and we'll donate surplus because people also don't get access to fresh food from these pantries. So it was helping people start that and then seeing what we got back. At this point now we're like 4 seasons in and we're partnered with Island Harvest.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Huge.
Yeah. And they give us plants because also we're all well-intentioned people, but we're not good gardeners.
So this got you into farming.
It's pretty cool. So yeah, they give us plants. We literally grow fresh vegetables, herbs, some fruits, and then weekly collect for like Jericho Cares, St. Edward's, Nosh in Glen Cove. We give back to Island Harvest, but it's all like fresh food that then goes back to people who don't have access to that. And Island Harvest, so like we're just a small piece of their bigger program. But last year, because now we like have to like weigh it and they like are tracking what is actually grown. But from their food program with this of distributing the plants, they've like raised like 11,000 pounds of fresh produce to give to people. It's amazing. And then actually this also motivates, we do a lot of food collections at the rallies, which I'm really proud of too, because I feel like even when we get pressed, nobody ever mentions that we're collecting food.
You know, we're going to talk about a rally that's coming up in a minute. But I don't want to spoil it, spoiler, but you do so much, right? Like, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was something with when I was at your house, and I hope I'm not mixing up something, like you were helping somebody who was in need of like housing too at one point.
So last year we hosted a fundraiser for Caris, and we also try to support the organizations that are already doing good work for the causes we believe in. Mm-hmm. So we were connected with Caris, and they do incredible work for immigrants here on Long Island. And then we had done some drives for them, like of like school supplies, things like that. But then some of their caseworkers started just reaching out and then coming up, like, you know, contacting us about very specific needs. And, you know, we have this like great network and people are so generous. And I think especially when it's like a tangible need that they can fulfill, they're always like really good about doing that. So it started last year, they had some pregnant clients, so it was a diaper ask, and we filled an SUV and dropped off my entire like SUV filled with diapers at their office in Hempstead. And now it's been like for more specific families. Like there was a woman, she's a single mom, an immigrant, and she has 3 kids. They're sharing a 1-bedroom apartment, and then the youngest has cerebral palsy. And so of course people want to help for that, which I'm grateful for, but again, that was just like tons of diapers, bed pads, Pediasure, wipes, and then we have like some very thoughtful, like one of our core members, Jen, is also a hospice nurse coordinator, and then she like knew about things like I didn't even think of, and then she was sending this like really like hard to find cream that like helps when you get like certain, and then she also got this like reusable bed pad, and I was like, oh my God, that was so smart. I don't know why I didn't think of that. And so I'm just like surrounded by like really thoughtful, compassionate people. But and then like one of the home care people contacted me from this family, and they thought that we were like something with like insurance. And I'm like, no, like we're just people. Like we heard her
just
story,
people
and
that
then
want to
just
help.
Yeah. So, but I guess the family maybe thought we were like some like official like resource, and I'm like, oh, we got them a hospital bed too, which was like. Sometimes they say these things, and I'm like, where am I going to get a hospital bed from? But it's like, you ask for it. We're not saying no. Like, let me try. And we
were talking before the camera started recording, but I just have to say, like a shout out. And you're very humble, by the way. But like in the past 8 years, you've grown your sphere of influence to the point where you can get somebody to get a hospital bed. Like you could get these things.
It's crazy.
Is it? I don't know.
I think it
Tell
is.
me about that. Like,
I mean, because we're just like regular people, and then like sometimes I'm blown away by what we pull off. But at the same time, it's like you're a mom, and you hear about another mom who needs a hospital bed for their 9-year-old child in a bedroom with like 3 other people, and you're like, look how fortunate I am. And I don't know, like I just like my heart goes out, and it's like if I can. I will do whatever I can do, and and I won't stop. I don't like to take
But it's
no.
it's amazing. Like we're talking grassroots, right? Honestly, like this is 8 years in the making. This didn't happen overnight,
No.
right? Like, but you have this sphere of influence now to where you can tap into, and you could help in ways that others can't. You can help out immediately and instantaneously those who are in dire need of certain tangible items or services. So thank you. On behalf of everybody in Long Island and Nassau County, thank you for what Engage does, because it's so much more than just organized. No, look, you and I are sitting right here on this side. Like the whole Scianablo movement and running for the town of Hempstead, to advocate on behalf of some of the stuff that you stand for too. None of it's possible without the people that you can't see right
100%.
here. So I just got to give them a shout out too, and all the volunteers that engage.
Thank you.
That being said, you've kind of articulated a lot of this. Like, what is your day-to-day like? I know, like, you know, you have kids and you have a family. Like, what is your day-to-day?
So get the kids off to school, and then it depends. It depends what we're working on. Usually there's a few events coming out. I'm always like working a few things out. It's like responding to people. Sometimes it's holding our electeds accountable. It's posting, you know, asks for people to do from home, make calls, and then we're always planning events. We have a monthly meeting. We meet the fourth Thursday of every month in Plainview, so it's planning what we're going to do at that event. We never want to waste anyone's time. Again, like as like busy people and busy moms, if you're giving us time, like we want it to be maximized so you feel like it was productive. At this month's meeting, we're going to be making whistle kits for No Kings with Know Your Rights cards for immigrants. We're going to be making rally signs for No Kings. We have live music. Our musicians are practicing. So it should be like it's like a pretty festive event. But we're also planning. We have a screening of SUFs coming up in May at the Ethical Humanist Society. We are working on something with a congresswoman that's like exciting, like all exciting stuff, like, you know. So yeah, just like some exciting things in the
You're
works.
doing amazing things. So what experience and people have led you towards this path and to where you're at today? Like, who's been most influential in this journey that has brought you here today?
I mean, I think the people that I've like surrounded myself by, the members of Engage, our core crew, are just like phenomenal women who are just all in, like, and they have trusted me that like I'm going to do right by them, and you know, I don't ask anyone to do anything that I wouldn't be willing to do myself, and like whatever we're doing, we believe is like the most important and right thing to be doing in that moment. We've like learned a lot over time because you know, we used to help races just because we liked the person. And now we feel okay. We don't really have the time or resources just to be nice. We have to actually win. So we're definitely more strategic. So that's been a big thing. You know, in 24 we did so much. We were in 3 different congressional districts because we're like, we have to flip the House. Like, so we were doing so much for Tom Suozzi, so much for Laura Gillen, and what we would try to do for our members, who some of them weren't as enthusiastic about some of those candidates, we would then be very specific and targeted about the down ballot races. So I don't even know if this was the original question, so I apologize.
No, but I have a follow up. So that's a look. We run across that too. Like, people aren't enthusiastic, but how do you organize, right? Like, whether you like it or not, you're a leader. Right, and a phenomenal one, and we've had conversations like on the Go with Joe about servant leaders. Like, you are truly a servant leader that does. I'm thanking you, but like, it's a thankless job sometimes after you get done at the end of the day. How do you balance that out, especially with your constituency, if I could refer to them as, but your volunteer base?
Yeah, I know that the people who do the work with me appreciate me. I definitely hear that from them, and they're always very supportive, and they're always like, we got your back, because we're also managing a big Facebook group with a lot of people with opinions and 2 cents, and who say things that are not always as complimentary, who give us a hard time about supporting candidates that they might not love. But it's like, for us, at the end of the day, we want to defend democracy. Like, that's big picture, and so that means like electing people that you might not be thrilled, but our feeling is, there are good things about these people. Like, I feel like sometimes people are very unreasonable with their expectations for candidates. And if you want someone that you're going to agree with 100% of the time, like, you need to run for office yourself, because there's going to be nobody that you're going to be always aligned with. And so you have to show people grace. You have to realize that, like, they are coming from a different background, and that, you know, hopefully they are at least doing what they believe is best, and you have that faith. And then you also, you know, hope to, you don't just elect someone and then, you know, wait and say nothing. If they're doing things you don't like, you hold them accountable. You watch what they're doing and you stay invested. Is this a lot of work? Yes, it's exhausting, but you need to do it. So I feel like that's been a big part of it, but we try to make it enjoyable. Like, we really try to find joy in community. When we ask people to canvass, we try to meet and get coffee together first before we go out. We always pair someone up with someone who has experience, so it's not as intimidating. And then you chat, you make genuine friendships. So that I enjoy. And then, you know, with Engage, we also just do community building things. So a lot of the service stuff is community building, but then we do book club, we do the movie screenings, we did a field trip. Like, I don't know, like, just try to make this not painful. Like, just
you've definitely built a community. I could just find similarities between, you know, what you've done grassroots and how we've kind of, you know, I'm a second time candidate now, I guess, but, like, there's so many similarities between the way we started just hitting the ground in the communities, some of the most vulnerable among us, some of the voices that have been muted throughout the years. We started there for our campaign in regards, but it just does remind me of, like, kind of the way you guys started out, grassroots. Like, you found a problem and an issue, you identified it outside of Organizing and Saving Democracy, but it started with those who are the most vulnerable among us, and those are the people who are in need of the representation. What kind of advice would you have for anybody starting out a campaign?
Well, I also just want to give you a compliment, because I feel like everyone, for months, we just kept hearing about you and Engage. Like, anyone who met you was like, have you guys, when people would complain about other things, they were like, you need to meet Joe. Like, I think you just really impressed everybody with how genuine you were, how sincere your, like, motivation for running, stepping up and, like, really speaking out. And I think everyone saw that, like, and it was something special. So, and so I think that matters. Like, you are a public servant. That's why you're in this, and people pick up on that. And so I think those are the best races to get involved with. I think for campaigns to really embrace that, and then also, I don't know, I think, like, for campaigns to sort of take our mindset, I think something I always, like, recommend to the campaign managers is just make sure your volunteers feel valued and appreciated and a part of your campaign, because they will be the ones who can hopefully get you across that finish line. And, you know, that first race that we worked on for Jim Gorin, I'm very fortunate that Mario Ferrone was working there, and we would pop in, like, I'd have my kids in tow, and he always, anytime we showed up at the office, he made us feel welcome. And Grayson was, like, menacing the place, and he still, like, made us feel welcome. Like, he never said, like, take your kid out of here. Like, this is what I come with, and that's how I can help. And, you know, if you can find a space for us, like, I will give you my all. And I feel like the places and campaigns that embrace that kind of thing from their volunteers, like, they'll be all in, and they'll do, you know, whatever they can for you.
Yeah, and I just want to highlight something, because you truly are a public servant too, but you reference public servant. I think that it's very important to maintain those relationships, right? Because politicians are people, but they're also meant to be public servants, and that's the quality we need to look at when we're looking at and I'm just speaking as a resident too, like, we need to look at people as if they're people that put their pants on one leg at a time, or whatever you wear, because they're meant to serve. They're not meant to be served. And that's what we need to remind ourselves. That's what we need to remind ourselves.
Yes.
Like, that should be the low bar. Like, is this guy serving people, or is he trying to be served?
Yeah.
And we'll cross him off that way. So keep that in mind. Lightning round.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the question. She knew it before I was going to even ask. Look, favorite pizzeria. And I'm going to say the same one over and over again. So, but favorite pizzeria and why?
Okay, so I was trying to come up with one in Town of Hempstead, but I have to just be honest, it is Severio's in Massapequa.
Severio's in Massapequa.
Yes. And I'm always wearing something like very lefty by accident when I go in there because it's just how I dress. But I'm always like, oh, I hope they still serve me this delicious pizza. But the Alina pie is so good. It's like really thin sliced fried eggplant with like ricotta and like a honey. Oh my God, it's so good. But you have to eat it there because I think the temperature is like how it's served. Like that's the...
Yeah, the Alina pie.
Yeah, it's so
All right,
good.
Severio's Alina pie.
And the DOP
All right.
is more like a margarita. They have like 3 different types of margarita, but the DOP is really good. And yeah, it's, oh my God, this place is so good.
I'm hungry now.
It's pies only.
Pies only.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then my place, Dario's, you get a Philly cheesesteak. Probably the best Philly cheesesteak you get out of Philly, too.
Wait, Philly cheesesteak pizza or just a...
No, like they make... So, you know what? Shout out to Dario's once again.
They need to send you something.
They have a great social media, too, because they show you how they make their Philly cheesesteak, too. Like, I mean, he's got the ribeye, and he's slicing it, and they got the grill in the back, and they use the right cheese. But they make a legit Philly cheesesteak at that pizzeria.
I don't think I've ever had a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're not endorsing me or sponsoring me, but I'm just being objectively honest about how good their pizza is.
Where are they located?
They're on Nassau Boulevard in West Hempstead.
Okay.
But Rachel, honestly, thank you so much for taking your time and coming on our show today. I appreciate it. But most importantly, March 28th, no Kings Rally, no community left behind. Bring food, bring canned goods, bring a box food item, and let's show our support to our community.
Thanks for having me. You're doing great work.
Thank you very much, Rachel. I just want to give a shout out to Rachel Klein. I thank you so much for coming on the show today. And next time you go out to a big community event, you kind of know what goes into it now. All the hard work behind the scenes, all the thankless hours for organizing and helping out and just getting the job done. So thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you and all the work that Engage Long Island does. Speaking of putting things together, La Focaccia is having a karaoke night on March 30th, which is a Monday. I will be there. So if you want a chance to sing with Joe, please join us in Levittown at La Focaccia for Sing with Joe night. DJ Curtis H. Maxwell. So look, start practicing now. Think about what song that you're going to be singing. I don't know if I'm going Zach Brown or Bon Jovi, to be quite honest with you. I might pull Dear Evan Hansen out of my back pocket. I don't know. But the only way that you will find out is if you show up on March 30th at La Focaccia in Levittown. If you're interested in showing up at La Focaccia to sing with Joe, please RSVP us. You could email us at scianablocoreteam@gmail.com, or you could call us at 516-229-1297. That's 516-229-1297. Once again, thank you so much for listening to On The Go with Joe. We love you. We appreciate you all for your support. There is no movement. There is no change without you. So thank you. Once again, thank you, Rachel Klein, for coming on the show. Don't forget, March 28th, 11 a.m., Mineola Courthouse, no Kings Rally. Semper Fi.